Americans eat out on a weekly basis. Whether it's going to a fast food restaurant or to a fancy restaurant, people spend tons of money when they're out to eat. For many people, it's a quick option and they don't have to worry about actually making the food or the cleanup afterwards. But what they don't think about at the time is the health and money-saving aspects of staying at home and eating. Today, I'm going to convince you to stay at home and eat more instead of going out to eat or ordering in food. Obviously, the main reason you should stay in and eat more at home is the money-saving aspect. I know that when I go out to eat to a restaurant, I usually spend about $25 on just myself, and sometimes that's not even including the tip. So for a family of 4 to go out, it's probably about a $100 bill when it's all said and done. Just think if that family went out to eat 4 times a month. That's $400 a month, or $4,800 a year. Just think about all that money they could have saved to go on a vacation or to buy a new car. Another part of the money-saving aspect of staying in is that when you go out, you spend more money on just one meal than you would if you would have just bought it at home. For example, if you bought spaghetti at a restaurant, it's probably going to cost you about $10 to $15. That's just for one meal that you'll probably enjoy for about an hour. You can make that same spaghetti at home for under $5. And if you have leftovers, you can use them for the next night or freeze it and have a quick meal for another time to enjoy. Another thing that people usually don't think of when deciding what to do for dinner is health costs. Eating at home can lower your overall health care costs. The consumption of fatty and high caloric foods over time can lead to diabetes and heart disease, among other things. If you eat at home with healthier meals, you are less likely to develop these conditions. Most restaurants do not have nutritional information on their foods at the restaurant. Sometimes you are able to go online and look up the nutritional values beforehand, but most of the time you have no idea what you are actually consuming. When you go out to eat, 60% of people get an appetizer while they are waiting on their food. Even if you try and get a healthier one, most appetizers do not have less than 500 calories. Also, a lot of restaurants serve bread and dinner rolls beforehand. This can add up to 300 more calories to your dinner. I work at Outback Steakhouse, and the bread that we serve beforehand is a honey wheat bread. And most people think that it can't be that bad for you because it's a wheat bread. But what people don't know is that it has more than 200 calories per loaf, and people usually get 2 to 3 loaves before their dinner. People also believe that ordering vegetables or salads or fish are also good for you at a restaurant, but that's a whole different story. Most restaurants add on fatty dressings, cheese, bacon bits, and croutons to salads. So even though the lettuce itself is healthy, it's all the extras that are bad for you. Also, ordering vegetables isn't any healthier. Most of the time they are covered in butter or oil, and fish is usually cooked in oil or butter, and most of the time it has some sort of fatty sauce to it to disguise the fact that it's overcooked. Portion size is another huge issue. Most restaurants give you 3 to 4 times the size of a meal that you should really be eating. But since it's all there and staring you right in the face, it's hard to know exactly how much to be eating, and most of the time you're talking or visiting and you don't know how much you've eaten until your plate is empty. Do you ever have it cross your mind on who is really cooking your food and if they're doing everything according to health codes? Humans cook your food, and humans make mistakes. You can avoid all this worry by just staying home and cooking your own food. This way you know exactly what you're eating. In today's society, time is a huge issue. Most of the time it is really hard to make a meal at home. I totally agree with this since I am a student and I work, so I know that it's hard to eat at home and make something. But if you sit down and think about it, you can plan meals for the entire week. When you have the spare time, simply cook and freeze. When you are ready to eat, take your home-cooked meal out of the freezer and reheat it, either over the stove or in the microwave. And in 5 minutes, you can have a healthy home-cooked meal in which you know exactly what's in it and how it was made. Now you know a little bit more information about why you should stay in at home and eat. You know exactly where your food is coming from and how it was prepared. Also, most people don't make appetizers before a meal at home. This way you can avoid the overeating and eating too many calories. The next time someone asks you to go out to eat, quickly think of some delicious meal that you can make at home for a fraction of the price. That will give you incentive to say no and stay at home. You can also invite that person over and make a meal together. Making food is more fun than by yourself, and this way the other person is eating healthy too.